So last time we went over Test Tony and we created a new lead for Test Tony. And so let's say now we're going to look into creating an opportunity to pitch to Test Tony. And we talked about a lead is like a vague notion that you may be able to work with this person or some sort of interest in your company. After you have a lead, your job is to come up with like an opportunity, and it's not to talk to Tony to figure out what an opportunity may be. That could be part of it, but you're gonna do a deep dive on Tony. You're gonna kind of check out his LinkedIn profile, check out his Facebook profile, do some investigation on his company, on his competitors, and you're gonna try to see what Tony could use for us. You're not gonna ask him, "Hey, Tony, what could we do for you?" We're gonna say, "Hey, have you thought about this, that, and the other thing?" And so your job is to come up with a few concrete opportunities to pitch to Tony. And the more the better. And one of the questions we get is, should I create one opportunity per idea or one opportunity for all of the ideas combined? Kind of depends. If they're separate ideas, then you want to separate them out into separate opportunities. If it's like one big platform with several ideas underneath that platform, it could be one opportunity. So again, we're saying Tony is a mechanic. So how do we move from this lead to opportunity? And again, I talked about it's an investigative process, and we really want to kind of do our due diligence to come up with some ideas that Tony's going to go for if we pitch them. We may not have concrete numbers at this point. If we do, that's even better. But we're just trying to give Tony some ideas that spark his interest. Even if he doesn't go for any of the opportunities we pitch him, then it may get his brain going, and he could say, well, not that, but how about this? So that's what we're going for when we create an opportunity. And at this point, when we're just creating it, we're basically just coming up with an elevator pitch. So your goal is to come up with these ideas and then schedule a meeting with Tony to go over them. So let's take an example. Let's say we have this idea, and so we're going to go in here. We're going to create an opportunity, and these are the different statuses it's going to be. And identified means we have this elevator pitch, and defined is where you flesh it out a little bit more. And proposed again is when you met with Tony and you've kind of closed, or you're not closed them. You've kind of pitched him this idea, and you've gone over it with him a little bit more detail. Following up is when you provide him with like a cost proposal and more details on the actual project, and then you have the various success, not interested, on hold, or lost. And lost never, we're not really competing against anyone for these, so lost never really comes into play. But success, on hold, not interested, those are the things that we can move it to. And again, priority is a vague notion on how important this is. The name of the opportunity could be something like Flash Deal Mobile App. And then value is how much we think this is going to be worth, or how much we think we're going to charge. Again, we can refine this later. Like off the top of our head, as an elevator pitch, maybe we think it's $10,000. And as we get to the cost proposal, we will update that. And then we have this, again, it's more like a goal for us. What day do we want to have this closed? What day are we trying to have this closed by? So we usually look at like a month sales cycle. So if we set February 14th, that's a pretty good date. And then probability. And again, this is something we'll update as we move down the pipeline. But basically, this helps us estimate how much revenue we have in the pipeline. If we have a 10% probability of close and it's a $10,000 opportunity, then we have $1,000 of revenue in the pipeline, kind of thing. Description, basically, we're going to pitch Tony on a flash deal app where he can offer discounts when customer volume is low. We don't have a close date. This is actually when we close it, we would update this. And then source. Okay, so where did this kind of contact come from? Where did this opportunity come from? Like, how did we get a hold of Tony? And so I said we met him at the gym, so I'd put that as networking. And then finally, I'm going to put a note here to flesh out the idea. So this is a little bit, we can add a little bit more here. Basically, this will allow Tony to offer variable pricing based on a availability. If he is swamped with work, he can charge full price, but when he has space, he can dynamically lower his price and his customers will get notified. And so add a task to follow up, which is basically, we're going to say schedule a meeting to pitch idea to Tony. And so this is, maybe we'll do this tomorrow. We'll schedule a meeting with him when we see him at the gym the next day. And we're just going to save the opportunity. And that's really all there is to it. From there, again, we're going to flesh this out a little bit more, put this into like an elevator pitch, and then we're going to bring this to Tony in a meeting. If he goes for it, or if he goes for another opportunity, we're going to add more detail, and we're going to start creating user stories for this to come up with a cost proposal to give to Tony. And so that's basically how you convert a lead to an opportunity.